please try to clarify how you can figure that a spiritual force can have an impact on a material universe to create it.
So let me get this straight. This guy thinks that because he doesn't understand how God works, that God doesn't exist. So if I ask him how to build a computer and he doesn't know, does that mean that computers don't exist too? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Cross Unit. I'm your host, Brother Maverick. And before I forget, because I always do, please, guys, don't forget to smash that like button, hit the bell for event notifications, share the video because it helps a lot, and definitely hit that sub button if you haven't already. Please and thank you. Now today, guys, we have an oldie but a goodie where Reinhold Schleiter was debating Kent Hovind on the origins of the earth and of God. And at first, it sounds like, and for those of us who are not well versed on the Bible and God and his origins, like he was making some pretty good points. But as you'll see by Kent Hovind's response, his argument did not hold up under scrutiny at all. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to jump right into it. And as usual, you will catch my thoughts on the other side. Let's man up.
The earth was created 6,000 years ago in 6 days by God. I am confused. Being philosophically consistent and being a very honest person, I'm sure you can tell me where God came from. And in addition, once you've told me where God comes from, please try to clarify how you can figure that a spiritual force can have an impact on a material universe to create it. I think that some years ago we already talked about that kind of thing in philosophical circles at any rate, by posing the question, if angels are made of spiritual matter and a pen is made of material matter and spiritual matter displaces no space, how many angels can dance on the tip of a pen? I have a sense of sort of reversal experience here, but please do, go ahead.
You got 5 minutes. Now, I just want to know which question.
That's all right. You may take the rest of the minutes.
We're supposed to do one question at a time. Which one would you like? That was part of the format for the debate. So which question?
I want you to fill in the story of the rest of the beginning of the universe. God, spiritual matter, impact on material matter.
Okay. So 2 questions. All right.
Go ahead.
All right, your question, where did God come from, assumes that you're thinking of the wrong, obviously it displays that you're thinking of the wrong God, because the God of the Bible is not affected by time, space, or matter. If he's affected by time, space, or matter, he's not God. Time, space, and matter is what we call a continuum. All of them have to come into existence at the same instant, because if there were matter but no space, where would you put it? If there were matter and space but no time, when would you put it? You cannot have time, space, or matter independently. They have to come into existence simultaneously. The Bible answers that in 10 words. In the beginning, there's time. God created the heaven, there's space, and the earth, there's matter. So you have time, space, matter created, a trinity of trinities there. Just, time is past, present, future. Space has length, width, height. Matter has solid, liquid, gas. You have a trinity of trinities created instantaneously, and the God who created them has to be outside of them. If he's limited by time, he's not God. The guy who created this computer is not in the computer. He's not running around in there changing the numbers on the screen, okay? The God who created this universe is outside of the universe. He's above it, beyond it, in it, through it. He's unaffected by it. So the concept that a spiritual force cannot have any effect on a material body, well then I guess you'd have to explain to me things like emotions and love and hatred and envy and jealousy and rationality. I mean, if your brain is just a random collection of chemicals that form by chance over billions of years, how on earth can you trust your own reasoning processes and the thoughts that you think? Okay, so your question, where did God come from, is assuming a limited God. And that's your problem. The God that I worship is not limited by time, space, or matter. If I could fit the infinite God in my 3-pound brain, he would not be worth worshiping, that's for certain. So that's the God that I worship. Thank you.
Now, let's get real for a second here, guys, okay? Reinhold Schleiter tried to argue that an immaterial God cannot interact with a physical universe. Folks, that wasn't a debate. It was a comedy show. Watching Schleiter attempt to dismantle the concept of God was like watching someone try to disprove gravity by jumping off a roof. You don't disprove reality just because you don't understand it. All you're doing is proving your own ignorance. Now, Kent Hovind, credit where credit is due as usual. He absolutely annihilated this argument, and honestly, it wasn't even close. First of all, the entire premise of Schleiter's argument assumes that God is bound by the same physical laws that he created. That's like saying an artist can't touch their own painting because they're not made out of paint. It's laughable and ridiculous on its face. Genesis 1:1 tells us plainly, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The creator is not subject to his creation. He operates outside of it, beyond it, and over it. God's nature transcends time, space, and matter. These are the things that he himself brought into existence. I don't understand how this is not comprehensible to some people. But let's not stop there. Schleiter's argument crumbles under its own weight when you think about it. Even atheists have acknowledged the existence of immaterial realities, okay? Logic, morality, love, none of those things are physical, yet they have profound effects on the physical world every single day. Now, they'll cling to these concepts when it suits their arguments, but the second that God is mentioned, all of a sudden, immaterial forces are impossible to interact with material reality. Now, I want atheists to make that make sense for me, okay? And here's the kicker. Schleiter used logic, a framework that's immaterial, to argue against the existence of an immaterial God. If that's not peak irony, I don't know what is. It's like someone trying to disprove the existence of oxygen while holding their breath. The very tools that atheists use to deny God only exist because God established order and reason in the universe. Colossians 1:17 nails it perfectly. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. That's not a vague metaphor. It's reality. We've had it written for us for thousands of years. I don't understand where we're missing each other here. Now, Hovind also pointed out the arrogance baked into those kinds of arguments, which I agree with. Atheists love to claim that if they can't comprehend God's nature, then he must not exist. Seriously, that's what you're going with. If the finite human brain could fully grasp the infinite creator of the universe, that would be more concerning than comforting. Let's be honest with each other. We can't even comprehend the size of the universe, but we think we can understand God. And Isaiah 40:28 lays that one out great. The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. And yes, that includes you, atheists. Just because you don't understand something doesn't mean it's false. It just means that it's above and beyond your understanding. But here's what really stood out to me during this debate. Schleiter's argument wasn't just wrong, it really was lazy, guys. He didn't even take the time to understand the nature of the God he was criticizing. Instead, he trotted out some weak and repeated strawman argument, and Hovind torched it. He took a flamethrower of logic and scripture all over that dude. This debate wasn't even a battle of equals, it was a masterclass in why atheism fails under scrutiny time and time and time again. So what should be our takeaway here, guys? It's really simple if we think about it. The argument that an immaterial God cannot interact with a physical universe is not only flawed, it is proof of the limited perspective of those making it. Now, atheists can scoff all they want, but their denial of God doesn't negate his existence, no matter how much they whine and cry about it. It only highlights their own blindness, and Psalms 14:1 couldn't be more appropriate. The fool says in his heart that there's no God. But at the end of the day, this debate was more than just a win for Kent Hovind. It was a reminder that God's truth stands unshaken, no matter how many intellectual tantrums that atheists throw. Maybe it's time for them to step back and humble themselves and acknowledge the obvious, that the creator is not now, nor will he ever be limited by creation, and he doesn't need atheist permission to exist. God's nature is infinite, his power unmatched, and his truth undeniable. And that, my friends, is a reality that every single atheist is going to have to face sooner or later, whether they like it or not. Hey guys, I pray to God that you liked the video, and if you did, please type amen in the comment section if you agree, and if you don't, go ahead and leave those comments also. Just keep it respectful. As always, please don't forget to like the video, hit the sub button, share the video, and smash that bell for event notifications, guys, so you never miss a new video. If you love what you see and you want to become a channel sponsor, you can hit that join button where the sponsorship trailer will explain the different tier options and the perks that you'll get as a result of joining each individual plan. Also, don't forget to check out our merch store, as I recently added a ton of new merchandise to the store, and I would love to see nothing more than to see some of you guys wearing the Cross Unit logo out there in the wild. Lastly, the link to my Buy Me a Coffee is there as well. Of course, you're not required to do any of that. Just having you here with me is more than enough, and I am extremely grateful to God for your fellowship. As always, guys, be safe, be good, and be blessed. Remember that Jesus is King and the literal only way to heaven. So for those of you who haven't started a relationship with him yet, please consider it, because when he comes back for his people, it's gonna happen just like this.